low levels of vitamin K can lead to dangerous bleeding in newborns and infants. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends supplementing low levels of vitamin K in newborns with a single shot of vitamin K given at birth. And the vitamin K given at birth provides protection against bleeding that could occur because of low levels of the essential vitamin. So I'm joined again by Dr. Stephanie. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
We always love to have you on the show because you have so much fun information, you know, for those of us maybe that have kids, things that maybe we struggle with or didn't even realize that we should be paying attention to. This is one of those issues. So can you tell me, what is vitamin K and how do low levels, you know, affect a child, or how does that deficiency, you know, have to do with bleeding in babies, which is something I'd never heard of, and now I'm terrified. So
I think a lot of people don't really realize what vitamin K is and the role it plays in your body. What it is basically is a fat soluble nutrient that your body uses to clot your blood. So if you have a cut, if you have anything like this, vitamin K is a necessary ingredient to help keep you from losing too much blood.
So then that is where kind of the deficiency bleeding comes in.
Yes.
So if a baby, and there are a lot of instances of this, say that you have a midwife, a baby's born at home, they're not in the hospital right away, so they don't get that shot right away. What kinds of things can we see?
Well, so babies are naturally born without a lot of vitamin K in their system. It's not one of the things that crosses the placenta well and really can run into issues. It has been the standard of care for newborns since 1961 to offer supplemental vitamin K at birth through a shot. And that really helps prevent a variety of types of bleeding. Serious bleeding, like bleeding in the brain, bleeding in the internal organs, that really can cause an infant to get very sick or even die.
Yikes. Okay, so a lot of focus has been put on all sorts of shots over the last few years. I'm sure there's a lot of people at home wondering, you know, what else is in the shot? Is it safe?
Right. Well, I mean, you have this precious newborn that you want to do everything in your power to care for, and making those decisions can be really hard. The vitamin K shot mainly is composed of vitamin K itself, but it has a few other ingredients in it that helps to make it safe for a newborn. So there's one ingredient that helps the vitamin K stay in suspension. There's an ingredient that helps buffer the solution so it's not too acidic. And then there's also a preservative that's present in that too. These ingredients are safe. They don't lead to any health consequences for the baby. They don't lead to reactions. They help make that shot as effective as possible.
So in addition to the shot, if say a parent wants to supplement, or even maybe if a doctor recommends it, is there another option? Is there a pill form as well that we should be taking?
You know, there are oral forms of vitamin K available. They just really don't work as well. A baby's system is immature and has difficulty absorbing that in the way that it needs. So the shot really is the safest, fastest, most effective way to prevent that type of bleeding in your baby.
So it sounds like obviously there's a natural element to this as well. How does breastfeeding come into play? Can you get some of that from breastfeeding?
Yeah, you know, not a lot. So vitamin K does not transfer very well through breast milk. And so breastfed infants who did not receive the shot of vitamin K are at higher risk for developing vitamin K deficient bleeding.
Yikes. Okay, so obviously when a baby's born, they should be getting the shot.
Yeah.
But what are some things as a parent to look out for in any way?
In any way,
just to be safe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So bleeding from the nose, bleeding from the umbilical cord or the belly button, blood in the stool, those things would all be pretty abnormal, especially if it's more than just a little bit of bleeding.
Sure.
So that would be something you'd want to contact your doctor about right away. But some other things you might look for is pale skin or pale lips and gums, or jaundice, that yellow color that can be in the eyes or the face. That's really lasting. Those would all be things that you should be on the lookout for as a parent.
Well, I know that at least as a parent myself, I feel blessed that our healthcare community in Fargo-Moorhead is very strong. You know, of the many times I've had children, it's not many, but it feels like it. If you've had children, you understand. I felt I always had a lot of support, and we always were doing checkups, and we always were getting the baby in to make sure everything was okay. And so in this process, of course, doctors like you would be able to say, okay, they need a little more of this, maybe a little more of that.
And we welcome questions at any time. If you have concerns about one of our recommendations, or you read something or you heard something that you're just not quite sure about, just give us a call, ask that question. When you're in the hospital with your new baby, we'd love to talk with you more and share that information.
That's fantastic. Dr. Stephanie Hansen joins us always with just great advice and great information. And I'm sure we'll have you on again because there are infinite topics we could talk about with children. So thanks so much for joining me again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now coming up next, she's all over your social media and you betcha she's a hoot. I sat down with that Midwestern mom.